Hey guys, did you know I like One? I know it's hard to believe considering this channel has 0 videos based on an object show called One, but I really like it. Now, there's a lot of good things about One. That people consider it to be one of the best modern object shows, not to be confused with Modern Objects, released in recent years, as in not the golden era of 2010 to 2015. We had so many good things then. How I miss it. But hey, One is really good. It came out, well, the first episode of the show came out in June 11th, 2020. It's 2 years old already. Oh boy, old man One. And the final episode of One, at 118, came out August 21st of 2022. Lasting a cool 2 years and a few months. I don't know how time works. We got a lot of content. We got 18 episodes, spanning across 2 years. The first ones being released weirdly at first, and then gradually released every day of the month. Especially with season 2, they were all released on certain days, ending it with the number 1 of each month. Which was funny because they were also released at 1 PM at Cheesy's time, but obviously not for everyone else in the world because time zones don't work like that. Anyway, One is amazing, and we need to talk about why it's so amazing. I've done so many videos on these things, but I've never just talked about how great it is. So let's go, starting with so the characters in One. I've already made multiple videos about all the characters in One. Some of them need to be made still, especially the third batch of characters video. Don't know when that's gonna happen. Maybe soon. You'll have to see. But the cast of One is extremely solid. There's the first batch, second batch, third batch, and then side characters, and then just characters who don't fit into the batches, like Aerie himself. Batch 1 is the 6 humanish characters who all have their human names. They're all really solid apart from Tomato, but he is a baby, so he doesn't count. Batch 2 had all of the objects from the human world, who were all boring and lifeless, and I hate them, but I still love them at the same time. Somehow, even characters with 0 personality are great. Third batch from weird worlds, and still some of them from the object world, because Texty's from there. I don't really understand. Most of them are great. I love Stone and Texty and Folder, and then I hate Atom. He's belongs in the second batch because he's boring apart from the singular joke about having to want to wear pants. That was comedy gold.
Everyone how cool I am for winning.
I want some pants.
But yeah, we also have all of the side characters, who I consider characters who have had either a few lines of dialogue or importance to the main characters. Like Owen, who is important to Liam. We've got Bradley and Stella, who are important to Bryce and have lines of dialogue. And a bunch of other characters who speak, who are therefore important. And then Aerie himself, who he certainly was something, wasn't he? Everyone hates him, but everyone loves him. He's on the Tumblr sexy man thing. You guys are insane. Moving on. The animation in One is so simple in its style, yet so detailed in the same way. The backgrounds of One are really great. But the character animation for the first few episodes, you're like, oh, it's not that good, but it improves so much as the show goes on, and it gets more technical with the things that Cheesy does with the animation. He really improves, so I'm very proud of him. Which brings me to my next point. Cheesy's nearly the only animator in the entirety of the show. Even when I spoke to that person, he had even offered to animate, and Cheesy was like, nope, I can do it. So, good on you, Cheesy. The only time I think he didn't animate everything was in Universe Modulation, where he had guest animators animate the different universes, which was really fun to see. Moving on. The music in One is so important. You can have a really good show, but if it doesn't have a good soundtrack to go with it, then you might as well not watch it. All the music in 1 is done by Cheesy. There's 2 cover songs and then the rest is all his original music, which is great. You should totally give the entire soundtrack a listen while you can. I'm surprised I've never made a video about the music. It is so important. There's a lot of banger tracks, like ones that I can't pronounce. Atlantis Live, really good. Dono Live, or Dono Live, never learned how to pronounce it. Also really good. The intro and outro, beautiful soundtracks, love them both. Soul Mine's cover is really good, the Around the Bend cover is really good. All of the music in 1 is just so good, and I will never forgive Roll Ruler for playing over a drowning scene. God damn the music. Please listen to it. Next section. Woo! The writing in 1 is really solid. I've said before, the characters are written really well, with all their interactions with each other and the environment and how they play off each other. All the character writing is great. The story has felt like it has been planned out from the start, which is always a good thing to have, to know what your final end goal is going to be. Every episode is written in a good way. Some of them are character focused, some of them are just story focused. It doesn't really matter because everything is still written really goddamn well. That's all I can really say about the writing. I'm not a writer myself, but I can tell good writing when I watch a show. Here comes the final part. Woohoo! The ending of 1, the most controversial piece of 1 that we have, episode 18. Oh boy, do people not like self-titled. Basically, you've all seen episode 18 of 1. If you haven't, don't watch this section because I'm spoiling it. Basically, Eri dies and Liam is trapped in the weird place that Eri lives in forever until he dies. All of the characters that's still in the game are trapped there until they die. So it's a very unsatisfying ending, but I think that's a good thing. And here's why. 1 is not meant to be enjoyable in the sense of you are expecting something good to happen. Nothing good really happens most of the time. You have a few like happy moments, but most of the time bad stuff. Sadness and depression and all that good stuff. So the fact that people were expecting a good ending is funny, because you were never going to get a good ending. It was more of a neutral ending where Eri's dead but everyone is still trapped. But since it's more of a cliffhanger, everyone can interpretate what happens and then everyone can be happy. Because you don't need a good finished ending. It still worked very well. And I love how the Around the Bend cover comes into play in it. It's a good ending, but it's unsatisfying, and I think that's why a lot of people really didn't like it, but I liked it. Alright, in conclusion, 1 is a really good show because it has everything a show wants. It has great music, great animation, great characters, great writing. It has everything. If you don't even need great animation for a show, you just need it to have solid writing, and it'll probably be great. Nothing needs to look amazing. 1 didn't look amazing when it first started. Now it looks amazing, but it didn't need to. If you haven't watched 1, then I have already spoiled everything for you in this video. But even those who have watched 1, please rewatch it right now. It's great. This was just a little video about why I love 1 so much, because I like 1. What a surprise. I've been your Cursed Plague Doctor, and this video is over.